Today we're going to be reading the Teacup Story. There is a couple who used to go to England to shop in the beautiful store. They both liked antiques and pottery, and especially teacups. This was their 25th wedding anniversary. One day in the beautiful shop, they saw a beautiful cup. They said, "May we see that? We'd never seen one quite so beautiful." As the lady handed it to them, suddenly the cup spoke. "You don't understand," it said. "I haven't always been a teacup. There was a time when I was red and I was clay. My master took me and rolled me out and patted me over and over, and I yelled out, 'Let me alone,' but he only smiled, 'Not yet.' Then I was placed on a spinning wheel," the cup said, "and suddenly I was spun around and around and around." "Stop it, I'm getting dizzy," I screamed. The master only nodded and said, "Not yet." Then he put me in the oven. "I never felt such heat," the teacup said. I wondered why he wanted to burn me, and I yelled and knocked at the door. I could see him through the opening, and I could read his lips as he shook his head. "Not yet." Finally, the door opened and he put me on the shelf, and I began to quote. "There, that's better," I said, and he brushed and painted me all over. The fumes are horrible. I thought I would gag. Stop it, I cried. He only nodded, "Not yet." Then suddenly he put me back into the oven, not like the first time. This was twice as hot, and I knew I would suffocate. I begged, I pleaded, I screamed, I cried. All the time I could see him through the opening, nodding his head, saying, "Not yet." 1 hour later he handed me a mirror and said, "Look at yourself." And I did. I said, "That's not me. That couldn't be me. It's beautiful. I'm beautiful." "I wanted you to remember then," he said. "I know it hurts to be rolled up and patted, but if I had left you alone, you'd have dried up. I know it made you dizzy to spin around on that wheel, but if I had stopped, you would have crumbled. I knew it hurt and I was hot and disagreeable in the oven, but if I hadn't put you there, you would have cracked up. I know the fumes were bad when I brushed you and painted you all over, but if I hadn't done that, you would never have hardened. You would not have had any color in your life. And if I hadn't put you back in the second oven, you wouldn't survive for very long because of the hardness would have not helped. Now you're a finished product. You're what I had in mind when I first began with you."
What do you think this moral of that story is, Gabe? Can you tell us?
God knows what he's doing for all of us. He's the potter and we are the clay. So he molds us and makes us so what we may be into his flawless piece of work. To fulfill his good, pleasing, and perfect will, may the Teacup Story become our story, as we willingly yield our potters to our potter's hand.
Okay. Thank you.